Update 50 is officially out, and in case you haven't heard of the deets, well, it comes with Silas as the main headliner, but almost as big are the Powers Pro Monkey Farmer and the Super Monkey Beacon. Before we get into that, I believe Ice Shaper is currently a code that you can redeem for seemingly 2 time stops, 2 ice monkeys. I mean, it is free stuff, so I can't complain. Trophy store items comes with a Wizard Monkey Sheep, a Dream Sheep banner, Super Duper Monkey Avatar, and an Ancient Zomga. I say Zomga ironically. So now let us hit the power section, as they have overhauled how the UI looks entirely. Open up this new menu here, and basically, Powers Pro are basically upgradable versions of normal powers, where you could spend in-game cash to upgrade them. To unlock it and its upgrades, looks like you have to either buy the powers or use them in-game to get XP. So to unlock the Super Monkey Beacon, for example, we need to use Super Monkey Storm. So, or if we buy it, how much XP does that get us? 800, so that's actually not that much. Use it 16 times and you got it. Just as a quick sneak peek, by the way, they added this new cool little menu, which, as you can see, each Power Pro has 9 unique upgrades, which is pretty damn, like, sophisticated for literally a power and not a tower. Same thing with the Banana Farmer, which we're going to showcase in the future. If you just want all upgrades instantly, though, what you can do is head over into the shop where they have a Powers Pro launch pack, giving you all of the unlocks as well as, 20 of these free things. Another quick plug, web store. They are currently offering a discount on every single thing in the web store shop here over in this link, or click in the description. Basically, if you enter anybody's creator code, like ISAB, you get 5% off everything. Not to mention bonus items like an Insta. I consider that a win-win. Here's how we're going to check out each of the 3 Monkey Beacon pads. We're going to drop 3 Monkey Beacons. 1, 2, and then 3. 1 will be top, 1 middle, 1 bottom, and we'll see how long each of these 3, or the 3 together, can survive for. I'm not even kidding, I'm pretty sure the first couple rounds are going to be the hardest because the cooldown is pretty long. Like, just take a look at the Super Monkey Beacon I just used here. If we want to be able to use 1 per round, then it kind of has to cool off faster than that. But thankfully, there are upgrades for that. First off, let me wait as long as possible to use my second Monkey Beacon. There we go. And now we can buy a Charge Beacon. However, I actually want to save for the middle path first. In fact, let me just show you what each of the tier 1s do. Charge Beacon allows the beacon to store up to 5 charges, and you can restore 4 of them for Monkey Money. Mini Stormcaller makes it have faster cooldown but less damage, and then High Impact makes it do more damage. Should be pretty self-explanatory why Mini Stormcaller is the way to go early game. So there's 1. And if you want to take a look at tier 2, Rapid Recharge makes it cool down even further. I like how the beacon also changes its icon. There are now 2 abilities that look eerily similar to each other, but they are not quite the same. If they were both not on cooldown, or both off cooldown, I could show you. But holy is this one upgrade just so much faster. By the time I use the second one, this one's literally still just halfway through. Now, if it turns out this challenge is impossible, and I have to drop more than 3 beacons, then I'll do so, or hell, spend monkey money for a Charge Beacon. But before I resort to such things, though, we have to at least get Rapid Recharge to see just how much faster the cooldown is now. I'm gonna just tank these reds because I feel like it, but you can see here, fittingly, the middle path ability has a smaller Super Monkey than the main Super Monkey. Very nice detail. My problems are also solved once I have enough money for Beacon of Legends. The final tier, tier 3, gains a permanent turret that attacks like a base Super Monkey and also grants free Super Monkeys every several rounds. Looks like we got our own Monkey City home, ladies and gents, except with Super Monkeys. Now, I also done goofed. I'm actually dead this round because everything is on way too long of cooldown. So, you know what? I think I'm just gonna do 1 cast drop here, don't mind me, to buy the Beacon of Legends so that we can see at least the very first one. And this is very, very interesting. I actually did not expect the Beacon of Legends to attack this fast. Like, that's not just a base 000 Super Monkey, that is a 000 Super on steroids. It's shooting so fast that it almost looks like it's shooting a burst of 2 darts, but no, it's just, I don't know, I would say like 10 times faster than a normal Super Monkey. And you know me, I'm just salivating at the thought of super buffing this thing. Because you can, right? Just testing, drop a village, and yes, it does inherit a buff. Let me just waste money too on an Alchemist buff just to see. And yep, it also takes it in, so... Like, I bet with how many projectiles that thing has, I'm assuming it can solo bosses. Just thinking of its buffing capabilities. Now, one thing to note, you saw earlier, it can't pop camo, can't pop lead either. You're also only limited to 1 tier 3, as you can see. For the one I'm going to upgrade to Top Path, it's grayed out. Let me just buy the Top Path upgrades now. So there's Charge Beacon. You can recharge for 200 monkey money. I ain't going to do that, though. I'll just let them slowly recharge. Storm Tremors. A moment after activating the Beacon Storm ability, a second storm triggers at half the amount of power. Let's test that out right now. How long is that delay? 1 and 2. Okay, decent sized delay. This is good as often as your Monkey Storm will leave a lot of like random stuff behind because it can't soak through layers. We'll get more to that later, but for now, Reverberation, the tier 3, a third storm triggers after the second, and instead, the second and third storm are actually stronger rather than weaker. Can I just say that I really like what Ninja Kiwi is doing, or they plan to do with Powers Pro. Having mini towers, quote-unquote, is like a fantastic idea. There's the tier 3 ability, how it looks, by the way. But not only is it great for Ninja Kiwi, because it definitely doesn't take anywhere near as much development time as a new tower, because there's only 9 upgrades instead of 15, and because you can't cross-path them, that saves, I guess, a lot of extra things you would have to do with cross-pathing on their side, while still giving enough of a feel that it, you know, feels refreshing to pull out. I do have some issues with them in the form of them being powers I'll get into in a little bit, but now let's take a look at the bottom path. Let's get High Impact in preparation for round 40, and then Bewildering Storm. Beacon Storm ability stuns surviving mobs for a short time. Gotcha. I'm gonna have to use the short cooldown ability for this round. And now we're left with round 40, which I actually want to stall, but I guess the beacon is not going to do that for us. Let me just see if it can solo. I doubt it can, given that it seems like each dart is probably just 1 pierce, right? Yeah, it's going to leave some stuff behind. On to the free play. This seems like more of a support path. Now let's get Piercing Wind. Look at this. Storm damage soaks through balloon layers, and every beacon ability used on this guy will increase the damage permanently. I like the sound of that. Unfortunately, as good as it sounds on paper, given that it doesn't have the faster cooldown of the middle path, it's gonna take a very, very, very long time for it to ramp up. I forgot to acknowledge the free Super Monkeys too. We have 2 of them. You know what? I guess since they are part of the beacon, I will drop them, but I'm not gonna cross-path them yet, or at all. Anyway, forget soloing. I think it's a lot more fun if this middle path beacon actually gets some buffs. I want to see it get big. So, there's that. And here's at least a tier 4 out buff to make things go crazy. I haven't charged up this bottom path very much yet, so let's do that now. And there's a Soaking coming into action. In the context of BTD6, Piercing Wind leaving absolutely nothing behind, unlike these ones here, where you still got Cerams to deal with after. I would say my biggest worry about Powers Pro is the same worry I have about powers existing in the game, in that I never have an opportunity to use them as somebody who either most of the time plays Chimps mode or ranked bosses, which in both instances ban powers completely. And that doesn't change here. You're not going to be able to use these in Chimps nor in ranked bossing. So what is the point in them, really, from my perspective? Even in game modes where powers are enabled, I normally don't do them because every time I do a challenge, I tend to not enable powers either because it would kind of break the challenge aspect, you know what I mean? Now, I am obviously not the average BT6 player. Apparently, Ninja Kiwi says that powers are very highly used. Let's use this ability, by the way. Even though it's weaker, it still does have enough damage to one-shot an entire BFB layer, so that's saying something. And finally, can we get our 3rd charge of the Piercing Wind? I swear I last used the ability 9 rounds ago. Jeez, this thing is like sub-Paragon ability levels of slow. As I was saying earlier, though, I never actually use normal powers during challenges. However, because these feel like, honestly, towers in themselves, even though they are power and I can't use them for a lot of the game modes I play in, I still think there is definitely a way to incorporate challenges featuring them. And if you, I'm gonna say this right now, if you have any challenge ideas surrounding what to do involving these current 2 powers, then do let me know. I definitely think the Beacon has a lot more challenge potential than the Farmer. Because Farmer's quality of life, this is literally doing damage to help us win here. I also completely did not realize until now that there's no targeting option for this Monkey Beacon. It is just, I think, first. Let's just use Piercing or the triple combo attack to easily get 366, and there we have it. This is going to be a big buff. Funnily enough, the other beacons can still take on the P-Brew buffs, even though they don't have an attack. I would assume this actually makes it, like, makes your abilities do two more damage. Wow. Isn't that awesome? 2 on top of several thousands for a 0.1% DPS increase. Well, we actually can't really call it DPS because they're burst abilities. Actually, you can't calculate DPS like that. Now, strategically speaking, if I want an advantage here, what I should do is try to stall rounds as long as possible. Like, say, I think I could just get a downdraft and, say, create a refarm with these recos here, but I'm not gonna do that because that's way too time-consuming. But in theory, does that not mean if there's no ability cap per round, can't you spam this ability infinitely to, well, get infinite damage to your Monkey Storms? Because I feel like that's plausible if they don't cap it. The weaker beacon should not have enough damage to one-shot this UMG here. 243 to 244, so only 900 damage. I say only as if that sucks, but it's actually good. So, how about this one? 2,000 damage, and with 3 swipes, that gets us down to mobs. I'm probably gonna need one more Super Monkey Storm to finish it off. I guess I'll use the one that does more damage, which I actually probably should have done earlier, but that's fine. We actually don't need it. But I probably should have used it anyway, because remember, it gets stronger every time. We'll just end off that round there, and one thing I wanted to drop the entire time, Energizer. This does decrease the cooldown by 20%. That's gonna be big. It's too late because I started the run already, but I actually should have brought Geraldo for the Reju potions, because I assume that would also work if they take in buffs and all that. It would also work on the Monkey Beacon, and oh boy, wouldn't that have been so useful. Decreasing the several minute cooldown, or letting us use a several minute cooldown ability instantly. Just sounds like too good to be true. Because I think I remember in the past that Reju Potion did reset Paragon abilities, but that was before Sub Paragon came out. Imagine if Sub Paragon came before that was patched. How satisfying it would have been to use that. Anyway, let's check out the big damage now from Piercing Wind. 72k? Holy crap. That thing scales up like crazy. It just one-shot the ZMG. If this is what just 400 Monkey Money in a game gets you, then the value of Monkey Money to in-game cash must be, I would say, astronomical. It honestly puts the low cooldown of Beacon of Legends to shame. But think about just how broken the powers per are comparatively. For the cost of 1 power pro beacon, you can get yourself 4 Super Monkey Storms. This already more than paid itself off. You probably used each beacon or each ability like 10 times, I would say. And that's being generous. So we got more than our money's worth with this monkey money ability. Meanwhile, these powers are like a one-time use. It's like using paper plates for all your meals when you could literally just buy some silverware and have it last for years. I think it's a pretty fair comparison. Like here, 400 Monkey Money plus $5,000 gets you the ability to basically destroy almost all of 92 with one ability. Meanwhile, we would have needed more than 400 Monkey Money worth of Super Monkey Storms to even beat this round. Yes, I know they are literally called Powers Pro and they should be stronger than their other counterpowers, but still. Hope you know what I mean. I don't see anybody ever activating a normal Super Monkey Storm after seeing this here. These rounds, it looks like we have to start using our Super Monkey Storms a little bit more strategically, so a level 2 ability here. And if I can stall long enough, I'm going to use the 3rd ability, but we might do too much damage that I gotta activate a... No, let me use this one. Nice. Big nuke. This round's a great round to use the 1st ability. Oh, crap. My bad. I forgot about the delay between Super Monkey Storms. That was a dumb idea. Times were these where I think you'd prefer the beacon on strong so that we could turn the ZMGs into BFBs and then get everything down with one Super Mini Storm, but I think we have to use probably 2 of them here. Let's use one of the top pads. That'll get it down a mob, so I think we need 1 more to finish it off. Yep. 900 HP is enough for the small Super Mini Storm to do enough damage, right? Ooh, just barely off. Well, that's unfortunate. That was quite an inefficient use of the Super Mini Storm there. Anyway, I want to see now if we have enough damage to one-shot a bat here. Boom. Nope, that was only 8k damage. Compared to the top path, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. Which is kind of insane if you think about it. That's 9k damage total, as opposed to, I used this probably a dozen times and still isn't up to the damage here. But again, it does have the benefit of soaking through layers, but that is technically also the case with this guy here. That said, I think we need just 1 small ability. And there's our Insta. So honestly, I gotta say, Ninja did a really good job with, like, making each beacon path different and also balanced, because I can see a reason to go for each and every single one of these paths here. Also, you can't overclock the beacon, sadly. I was just about to ultra boost it. So that's a bit of a shame, but that does, I guess, make sense balance-wise. I'm also going to run out of Super Mini Storms, like, for this round. Unfortunately, I used up all my 5 banked Super Mini Storms in the last couple rounds here, so I gotta, I guess, get some stalling. So, Aptitude 0. Like, in summary, Beacon of Legends is your early game. It is the weakest by far, but it is the most useful, because it's literally 5 times faster at coming up than everything else. Top and bottom are pretty similar to each other. Each do crazy amounts of damage, obviously. This being better the later you have it. And also, just like normal Super Mini Storms, I actually disabled the, or went down to the accessibility to 99%, because Homeland, I didn't want it to keep flashbanging, but in doing so, it's kind of a shame that it deletes the animations of the Super Mini Storms fully, which is supposed to be like the coolest part of the tower. Anyway, this was a good time to use the mini ones that we could turn all those mobs to. Cerams, who said the weakest one still isn't useful at this stage of the game. Other things to test while we're already here. Can we Chinook the beacon? I'm gonna assume no. It is a building, but oh my god, you actually can. Okay, I was wrong. No reason to do that because they aren't in a good spot. I was just curious. Yeah, it's actually kind of strange. Like, it can take in Permbrew, it can be Chinooked, but it cannot be overclocked. Normally, when a tower can't be P-brewed, it cannot be overclocked, and if it can be P-brewed, it can also be overclocked. Normally, it's usually not only one of the two, unless I'm forgetting something off the top of my head, but I don't think I am. Just to clarify, when I mean can be overclocked, I mean you can use the overclock ability on it, but said tower won't receive buffs, like, say, the mini planes from a Kira flagship. Same with outbuff, like, you can outbuff the boat, but it won't apply to the mini planes. Other targeted buffs, Desperado, wow. Okay, any targeted buffs, it appears, cannot be put on the beacon. Also, yes, do report me for trolling. I completely forgot to put my ice tower on water. This way it gets 50% cooldown reduction instead of just 20. My bad. And with that, we now have perma Aptitude 0 uptime, so there should be no reason at all to fall to any of these rounds here. Stall long enough to get the bottom path ability up, use it, rinse and repeat. I'm impatient, so I'm just going to use the bottom path ability. We haven't really seen a stun very often because normally it nukes out, but it's a pretty long stun too. Like 4 seconds fast forward, so 10 seconds in-game. Once again, it's really just rinse and repeat for the rest of the rounds here, but I really feel like the best 1-2 punch is using the top path for 9,000 damage, and then whatever much damage this thing does to beat off the rest. Like, check this out, we can't one-shot the FGMGs yet, so let's just do 9,000 damage to strip off the top layer first, and then there goes 115. I've about shown everything I've needed to show here, so our final test is going to be the BADs next round. Let's just use another tree of 3 to end off this round. And with 4 top path abilities still charged up, we should have plenty in the tank here. We'll wait for all 3 bats to come out, of course. We're gonna have to do some divide by 3 math to see how much single target we're getting now. Use this. 714. Okay, quick math, that's 33,000 damage, so 11,000 to each target each. Not bad. We've officially surpassed Reverberation. However, Reverberation has the upside of having so many charges. The ability to charge up 5 abilities at a time is just nuts. So much so that I think 2 of these will get us there? No. Okay, we're gonna need 1 more then, right? 1, 2, 3. Wow. We might actually need to use all of them. That wasn't part of the plan. Because I don't have any more abilities aside from that, I'm gonna try to activate that as late as possible. Come on. Hopefully I don't need it for DTs here. Up to 0? That's too sketchy, I think. Let's use it now. 1. Are you kidding me? How did that not go off in time? Unlucky. I do think I genuinely would have passed that round if that didn't kill us. Well, at the very least, we can do this all over again, but this time with more abilities, because I have 5 this time instead of 4. And this time we can use the second to last one very early, and you know what? 1 more. 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of 119. And that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the Monkey Beacon, and stay tuned for more Powers Pro action. And of course, more ideas for what to do with Power Pros are welcome.